in 1947, Dr. Gloria Ladson-Billings has spent her career as an advocate for culturally relevant pedagogy. Culturally relevant pedagogy, or CRP, is defined as an approach that requires focus on students' learning, an attempt to develop their cultural competence, and to increase their socio-political or critical consciousness. CRP can be successfully used in all schools with all students, but Ladson-Billings has popularized it under the premise of underserved Black students in America. Ladson-Billings spent much of her career as a professor of urban education and a faculty affiliate to the Department of Educational Policy Studies at the University of Wisconsin. She is also the former president of American Educational Research Association. On top of being a published researcher in countless educational journals, she is also the author of critically acclaimed books, The Dream Keepers, Successful Teachers of African American Children, and Crossing Over to Canaan, This Journey of New Teachers in Diverse Classrooms. Both of these books have been assimilated into teacher education programs across the country, including mine, as an effort to better prepare student teachers to enter the realistic world of urban education. Dream Keepers examines teachers of African American students who Dr. Ladson-Billings considers successful teachers. This essentially means that the teachers in this book have found success in CRP. The first edition of the book observes 8 teachers. The second edition of the book revisits these 8 teachers and includes a number of new teachers who have also found success. Dream Keepers has many lessons, but the main idea is that successful teaching includes teachers' efforts to work with the unique strengths of all students regardless of gender and race. This figure here illustrates the complicated atmospheres that educators must consider when practicing CRP. Each section refers to the factors that influence a child's identity and abilities, with the chronosystem including changes in family structure, residency, and parents' employments being the factor that sits the furthest away, and student-teacher interactions being the center of it all. Ladson-Billings found it important to clearly separate CRP from assimilationists, as they are often at odds with one another. This chart here describes the differences between the two ideologies. For example, with CRP, the teacher is passionate about the content of which they are teaching. Assimilationists would say that teachers are detached or neutral. This is a very important difference because students buy into their education. An important factor of this buy-in are the teachers. If a teacher who is teaching African Americans is not passionate about the content that is relevant to the students, then they are not performing real culturally relevant pedagogy. Dr. Ladson-Billings' effort to popularize CRP in the 1990s has only continued to grow. She is an advocate for equity, and her influence bleeds into teacher education programs across the country. Instructional designers are using her research as foundations for their curriculum. Who says it better than the doctor herself? Culturally relevant teachers say, okay, here's why you need to know this. Because if we're going to change this, if we're going to actually speak to this level of unfairness and inequity, then you need some tools. You need to be able to read, and you need to be able to write, so that you can speak directly to this. Dr. Ladson-Billings in culturally relevant pedagogy empowers students of all races, of all genders, of all walks of life to change their worlds.